In this video, we'll be introducing you to the OLO Visualizer. So the OLO Visualizer is available, once you've connected a robot, it will be available as a button from the dashboard. And what you can see here, we've already got a simulation running and we've got a visualizer. And sometimes when you have those two screens side by side, you might want to organize them. So we have this tool down here in the bottom left of the dashboard, which allows you to arrange your screens and also minimize them as well. So you can get back to the dashboard. So as you can see on the left-hand side, we've got a robot in sim, and on the right-hand side, we've got our visualizer. And using your trackpad or mouse, you can manipulate the view of the robot. You can spin, you can track and pan. There are a couple of buttons in the bottom left-hand corner which allow you to either recenter your robot or follow it if you were moving it around and teleoperating it. If you click on various parts of the robot, you can see the mesh details. So let's move the robot over to the side there and start to explore the palettes available to us. So the first one is the motion status panel. And from there, we can turn on our LiDAR. And if we zoom out here in the simulation on the left, we can see that the LiDAR is picking up that corner wall. We have the option of either points or lines for our LiDAR. We can open the mesh cache here. And that will give you all sorts of details. So this panel here, you can look at your TF debugging panel. And you've got your WebRTC connection. And you have access to logs there. So if you want to, you can use the icon in the top right-hand corner to spring that panel out and then be able to move it around the visualizer. But if you click that icon again, it will then disappear. So the next icon down, we've got our views and lighting. So this is deciding which side of the robot you might want to view very quickly. So that saves you tracking and panning around. We've got our option for our mouse controls. We've got our scene lighting, so you can darken it or brighten it. We've got our camera zoom. So again, that is as well as using your trackpad or mouse scroll wheel to zoom. We can choose our floor style. There's a number of different colors, reflective qualities that you can choose. You can explore these, and this will help you decide, what shows up best with your robot, maybe the color of the meshes, etc. You can also choose whether it's dark, daylight, or it's just got a sort of effectively black sky. And then there's another follow robot button in that space there. The orbit camera allows you to just to spin the robot on its own axis. It's quite good for demonstrations. And if you hit follow as well, that will center the robot to the screen. So if we turn that off and then we click the icon again and we can close the palette, let's just go back to points on the LiDAR just to give us a clearer view of what's going on. And if it's worth noting here that if you've got follow set, then you won't be able to sort of track and pan around. So you'd need to unlock the follow button so that you can track and pan. The next palette down is a Nav2 control panel, and we've got a full video on starting Nav2 and waypoint navigation. So I won't go into the detail of that here, but we can just explore what's in the Nav2 control panel. As you can see, you've got options there for the map visualization. You can turn on waypoint management. You can drop your waypoints onto the visualizer. And then if you want, you can then start your robot navigating between those. As mentioned, the full details of that are available in that video. You can then clear your waypoints and you can then stop the navigation engine from that panel too. So that is all of your nav2 control within that panel. The next panel on the right hand side there is the camera. So again, we can spring that out. You can move that around if you want that to persist within the visualizer, and you have a number of choices there of the camera. It might be either raw or compressed. Obviously, one will take much more bandwidth than the other. So let's clear that away. The next palette is the teleop control panel. Again, let's spring that out, and that just gives you simple teleoperational controls of this robot. And at the bottom of that palette, you can see the keys available for teleoperating that robot rather than using your trackpad or mouse. The next palette shows you all of your joint positions for this robot. So let's quickly just spring out the teleop control panel again, go back into that those joint states, and as we navigate around, you can see the changing of the joint states of the robot. And if you would put the robot in various different poses, you would be able to then analyze and see those joint states. The next one is the video recording panel. So if you have a video stream, you can then start recording that, and that will save into your settings on the dashboard. And then finally, we have some quick actions, and they are available and manageable from elsewhere, and we'll have a video covering that. So let's jump to arms now. So there are some subtle differences with the palettes available if you have arms versus mobile robots. The first couple of palettes are as per a mobile robot, but it's worth pointing out on the camera control panel that for this robot we've set up two cameras. We've got a scene camera and we've got a wrist camera on this arm. So you can spring out a second camera control panel and then choose which camera that is displaying. So as you can see here, we've set it up with a scene camera and the wrist camera. So joint control panel, like a mobile robot, you can see all the different joint states. We've got camera recording, we've got quick actions, but here, this is another difference between the visualizer for an arm and a mobile robot. Here, we've got the cell editor, and we can drop some objects onto the visualizer, and we have full control over those. So once we've positioned that object, we can transform it, we can scale it, we can move it, we can drop it to the ground, all within this palette here. If we have specific coordinates where we'd like to drop it, we can do that there. We can also increase the opacity of it, and we can also snap it to the grid. So showing here the ability to scale that object, and then we can just drop it to the surface. I just want to change the color. So next, one of the most important palettes within the visualizer for arms is the movement control panel. And if you start IK, then you'll then get the grab handles on the arm, and you can start to manipulate it and move it. Using the top of the panel there, you can opt to rotate the end effector, and then at the bottom of the panel you can then actually move it to that chosen position. IK waypoint recorder then allows you to record that position. You can delete that position. You can then play a sequence of positions that you may have recorded. And again, similarly to Nav2 with the mobile robot, we have videos available for showing you how to do waypoint recording and playback. So that concludes this quick run through of the OLO Visualizer. run up a robot in simulation and open the visualizer, and then you can start to explore these options yourself.